Get video surveillance solutions for your business free for 3 months, only with Etisalat by eAnd.
Good morning, you're listening to Business Breakfast. It is 21 minutes past 8. The markets on Dubai Eye 103.8.
With Dubai Islamic Bank Business Banking, open a DIB rewards account and make your business rewarding every day. Hashtag ready for business.
All right, let's have a look at what's happening in markets after US markets came off a little bit yesterday. That rally that we saw on the back of softer inflation data lost its interest pretty quickly, with the Nasdaq, which had just come back into bull territory, sliding down by about 0.5%. Futures for US pretty flat at the moment. Mixed markets in Asia. The Japanese back trading, they were up around 2.5%.
Commodities.
Let's have a look at oil. We are going to hear from the energy expert Justin Dargan a little bit later on about those mixed messages that we're getting at the moment. OPEC saying that they see demand for oil slowing in the next quarter of this year and indeed into next year. The IEA saying exactly the opposite, saying that gas shortages in Europe means that there will be a gas for oil switch, and they in fact see demand rising. Justin's going to put that in perspective for us. I'm just going to give you the numbers. Brent at the moment sitting just over $99 a barrel. That is a couple of dollars up from where we were yesterday.
This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye on 1 on the UAE's #1 talk radio station.
Well, we are looking into one of our top business stories this morning, and that's a new report from the recruitment people, Hays, suggesting that more than 3/4 of employers are worried that they don't have the skills they need amongst their staff. Very pleased to be speaking to their Middle East Managing Director, Sarah Dixon. Sarah, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Brandy. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So this is the Hays Learning Mindset Report. 82% of bosses think they don't have the skills they need in an organisation. Why aren't they hiring them or upskilling those that they have?
Very good question. So it's interesting when you're looking at hard skills and soft skills, evolving roles with automation. It definitely changes the type of talent that employers need. I think employers feel in some ways that they are providing learning resources to upskill, but perhaps their employees are not so interested in upskilling or not so adept at applying those skills learned to their jobs. There's interesting factors at play here.
Yeah, there's a bit of disconnect in this report. You had a lot more bosses thinking that they were providing training tools and the like than employees thought they were getting them. Talk to me about that. Are companies just not paying for training?
Actually, majority of our respondents did say that they are investing in training, and employees tended to agree to this. However, they were perhaps not aware of the resources available or didn't agree that they were the relevant learning resources. I think the disconnect could come from a couple of reasons. One is that training is very personal, so what somebody might perceive as learning, it looks like a lot of us think learning is structured classroom environment, course curriculum based learning, whereas perhaps employers can see on-the-job coaching, online self-directed learning resources as learning as well. So there might be a disconnect there. Another reason is that employees are looking at learning for personal development, whereas employers are most interested in learning for improved performance on the jobs at hand. Another disconnect.
Whose job is that, though? I mean, you can always say fair enough. Employers want to teach you the stuff to make you do the job better. Is it an employer's job to just help you become generally a more attractive, maybe hire for somebody else?
If you look at it smartly, it's a more attractive hire for the company for the future. So this is investing in skill sets inside your current talent pool. That's your pipeline of skills for the future, and it also keeps them rather than having to go out and hire again.
Is it seen that way though, particularly here in this region?
Do you know, interestingly, when I drilled down into the UAE data, there is still some disconnect, but workers and employers are actually a bit more aligned on how they view learning. Also, actually, the UAE was in the top 3 for employees who felt that continuous learning are extremely important. to them in their roles.
How did the UAE numbers compare to what you saw globally? What are our attitudes and indeed what's happening here,
Yep.
training-wise, stacking up?
Sure. So it showed that employees here are definitely interested in learning. They see it as very important to themselves and their roles. They felt that what they learn is being applied very quickly and benefiting in the jobs they do today. Employers tended to agree to this at a slightly less degree. We saw a lot of alignment in how people like to learn. So the majority of workers here like classroom-based visual learning, and majority agreed that that's what the employers are providing in the UAE as well.
All right, so spending is happening, investment is happening.
It is. And majority of people agreed on both sides on this for UAE.
What about the willingness to learn? Because this is the other big disconnect in the report, isn't it? Where more staff say that they want to learn, 83%, compared to the bosses thinking the willingness is there.
That was an interesting one. So about half of the respondents in the UAE said that they are regularly investing time outside of work on a weekly basis to learning. What type of work learning? Again, we're not sure. Is this directly related to their jobs? Is it related to personal interest and development? Unsure there. But there was definitely a lower percentage of employers who felt that employees were open for learning.
But when we look at the skills gap as a whole, Sarah, what kind of skills are we talking about that employers say they just don't have on board?
A lot of these are these foundational skills, the critical soft skills for any roles that won't become redundant. You're looking at problem solving, decision making, communication skills. So in theory, these can be applied. Everybody can receive this training to develop.
Are they not interviewing for them? Can you not find them in this region?
Definitely you can find, but it's a talent shop market. It's very competitive. It's always better to develop and retain the people you've got than hire and retrain from outside.
Are you as a recruitment company able to find the people that you need at the moment for the vacancies that you are filling?
We find the people. It's definitely more competitive, as I mentioned. People have more options. What people are looking for from their companies has definitely changed. And learning is one of those things. A lot of people are looking for a company that has learning as a core strategy inside their employer value proposition.
What else are they looking for at the moment, Sarah? What do employees want?
Classic. Flexibility, career progression, fair remuneration.
So pay. Are we seeing wages go up here?
That's an interesting one. It's probably definitely bounced back since the pandemic. I wouldn't be able to put a hard percentage on it at the moment.
But they're on the up.
I would say so, yes.
Can you
Definitely from what we've seen.
Can you find the people that you need here? Are you able to look outside for them?
I would say there is more talent in the region. There are more people coming to the UAE with the talent that we're looking for inside the Gulf region in general. So perhaps compared to historically, definitely compared to pre-pandemic, we hire a lot more talent from in region than outside. But of course there is still the expats influx.
Thanks very much for joining us this morning. Sarah Dixon is the Middle East Managing Director for the recruitment company Hayes, speaking to us about their new learning mindset report, looking at what employers think they're offering in the way of training and development and what employees think they're actually getting. With Etihad Airways.
Good morning, I'm Serena Kenny. The UAE has addressed the UN Security Council calling for the International Atomic Energy Agency to be given full and unimpeded access to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant site in Ukraine. Several regions in England are expected to declare a drought later as high temperatures continue. And the US Attorney General says he personally approved the decision to search Donald Trump's home. For more on these stories, download the Air Indy Centre app.
This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye on One.
With Canadian Specialist Hospital in Abu Hail Dera, ensuring good health for you and your family with 200 beds, over 50 super specialties, internationally trained doctors, and state-of-the-art technology, keeping you well. Visit csh.ae.
Packed bags, 3 a.m. wake-up call, excited and cards help you get back what you always loved, with a joining bonus of up to 2,000 dirhams. On top of this, you also get an instant 10% monthly discount at Amazon.ae to buy those holiday essentials. T&Cs and limit supply. Please visit citibank.ae/TNC. What are you waiting for? Apply today at citibank.ae and book that long-awaited getaway.
Dubai Eye 103.8 is on demand with specialty podcasts and the highlights from every show, so you can listen anytime you want.
Download our podcast now at DubaiEye1038.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, is that the Data and Restaurant Project?
Yes, ma'am. How can I help you?
I've heard you have brand new spacious offices and retail space for lease.
That's right, ma'am. With a range of benefits like
Flexible lease terms, thousands of parking spaces, free maintenance, modern cafes, big brand shops, easy access to transport, green parks and plazas, a waterfront promenade, the new Dubai Gold Souk extension. Have I missed anything?
no, ma'am. That covers it.
Excellent, sign me up.
Better business starts in Data. Call us on 800-48472 today for flexible leasing deals. Live your best life on afternoons with Helen Farmer.
He's only 8 years old. His name is Ian, and he's the youngest person in the GCC to summit Mount Kilimanjaro. Tell me, what were the hardest bits climbing Mount Kilimanjaro?
Above the clouds, almost to Kilimanjaro, like almost there. It's really cold if you go in the morning, but if you go like in the afternoon, it'll be hot for you.
How many hours a day do you know you might be walking up that mountain?
Like in the first day, we only did like 3 hours and 12 minutes.
Did you not get tired? No, you're so brave. You really are.
Weekdays from 2 p.m.
With King's College Hospital London in Dubai.
on Dubai Eye 103.8, the UAE's #1 talk radio station.
Summer just got better, and it's all thanks to Service My Car. Book a major service and get a free oil change, free pickup and delivery, service progress updates, and much more. All for only 349 dirhams. Car maintenance has never been easier or cheaper. Book now at servicemycar.com.
Discover what you're missing with Dubai Eye 103.8's podcasts.
When it comes to live music, we love to shine a spotlight on the great talents in the city. And leading that spotlight is Emily Linger, who has over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Social media is so important to promote music. Without social media, without YouTube, I wouldn't be able to share my music any other way. So I'm really thankful for social media. It's my chance to actually break through, like Tate McRae, Olivia Rodrigo. And I think that without social media, I wouldn't be where I am now with 100,000 followers. I do read comments and I respond to them, and I like seeing comments. It just makes me feel really proud of what I'm doing. I like people being positive to what I'm doing, and I feel like it's worth it at the end.
Read the podcast in full at DubaiEye1038.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Canadian Specialist Hospital Abu Hail Dera Dubai is a 200-bedded GCIA-accredited hospital with over 50 super specialties, internationally trained doctors offering high-end surgical to clinical care through our state-of-art technology, reassuring you and your family's good health. Visit csh.ae.
Discover what you're missing with Dubai Eye 103.8's podcasts.
Hey, it's Robbie here. You can check out the Off-Script podcast for our conversations with the biggest names in the world of sport. We asked what quantifies success for the most successful male track distance runner ever, Sir Mo Farah.
I think success comes down to obviously what I have achieved. It's so difficult to be able to match that because of what I have achieved. 3rd or 4th or 5th. It's not good enough because you're a winner and that's what you've done for the last 10 years. So I'll never put myself in this position if I wasn't capable of. And I feel like, I'm capable of mixing with the best. Seeing yourself and being honest with yourself and go, okay, it's a long year, do races, see where you are, what time you run, can you mix it with the best, and then make that decision.
Read the podcast in full at DubaiEye1038.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Diamond rings, electric scooters, bikes, televisions, and so much more could be yours with DSS Lucky Receipt. Spend 500 dirhams or more in any one of the 25 participating brands, including Tivola, The Watch House, Damas, Gallery Lafayette, Faces, Emax, Baby Shop, and Home Centre before 25th August, and you could be one of the 25 daily Lucky Receipt winners with Dubai Summer Surprises. Visit mydss.ae.
This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye on One.
With ADSS, the leading MENA broker. Visit adss.com.
You're listening to the Business Breakfast. It is 24 minutes to 9. Business headlines on Dubai Eye 103.8.
With DP World, the global logistics provider, making the flow of trade smarter, faster and more sustainable. Log on to dpworld.ae to learn more.
And Dubai is just seen as most prolific July in 2 years in terms of property sales, more than 7,000 transactions. It's according to Property Finder, and it's up 63% on July last year.
Dubai Holding is selling its 50% stake in Dubai Creek Harbour to Emaar for around 7.5 billion dirhams in cash and shares. The deal will make Dubai Holding the second largest shareholder in Emaar.
Newly listed DWA reporting a 37% rise in Q2 net profit and a 14% rise in revenues. That's on the back of increased power demand.
Meanwhile, delivery company Aramex saw profits decrease in Q2 by 32%, partly due to softer revenues as the world goes back to in-person shopping.
And almost 9 out of 10 Dubai businesses have increased their prices on the back of rising costs, according to a new survey from Grant Thornton, at the same level or higher than the cost increases that they are seeing.
You're listening to the UAE's #1 talk radio station.
This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye on One. Right, we'll be learning a lot this morning. Don't upgrade your flights during the show. You'll make a mistake. Don't quickly try and eat a falafel wrap in the break, because Nats from 92 is coming with a load of fabulous Lebanese takeawayness. It's all going wrong. Tom, talk to me.
Let's get on, just on the back of what Sarah was saying there from Hayes about the jobs and the upskilling market. Some interesting sort of jobs reports coming out, not just from here, but also internationally. The Recruitment and Employment Confederation, which is an organisation that looks after the jobs numbers over in the United Kingdom, has seen, despite, dare I say it, the gathering global headwinds at the moment, a record number of jobs being advertised in recent months. 1.85 million job adverts in the last week of July in the UK alone, with up to 200,000 being added every week in the past month. Three hotspots over 3 out of the UK's top 10 hiring hotspots were in London in the last week of July. So big focus on jobs in London, where invariably salaries can be a little bit higher. That's not interesting. Well, it is interesting in light of current economic conditions. What is interesting, though, is the types of jobs that are being advertised. Mm-hmm. Significant increase for job listings for actors, entertainers, driving instructors and dancers. Forget your coders.
Yes.
Forget your IT specialists.
Forget your theory that to get on in life all you need to do is do engineering at university.
Forget chemical engineering. It's actors, entertainers, driving instructors and dancers that are in much demand at the moment. There's also been, in line with the fears of drought which are haunting the UK, but also large parts of Europe, vacancies for water and waste roles, such as sewage plant operatives and other land managers as well. But the reason it just caught my eye is, do you remember during the pandemic, those were the sort of roles that really suffered, weren't they? And then all of a sudden we're seeing...
Dancers particularly, because live entertainment just stopped.
Yeah, and now suddenly we're seeing all sorts of opportunities and listings. Is that evidence of things opening up, or is the very fact that they are looking to fill these roles indicative of the fact that there is a dearth, that there's not much people in those roles? But I don't know, it just makes for interesting reading, much like the other element of it, which is companies looking to get people into jobs are now offering incentives. I give you Walgreens over in the United States, where they are looking to fill positions at the moment by offering signing up bonuses or signing bonuses up to the value of $75,000, I'll have you know, as well. Why can't find pharmacists in the US at the moment? Pharmacists are worth their value in gold and other chemical elements, I'm sure. In such high demand that Walgreens are now, well, basically taking a leaf out of sports and giving signing up fees. They are offering signing up bonuses to recruit pharmacists. You can go with those figures going as high as $75,000 just to dangle a carrot and try and get people to come over and man the pharmacies and the Walgreens pharmacies over in the US at the moment. And a lot of companies seem to be doing this. Incentive packages.
Yeah, and they were in the pandemic. I mean, you and I were both in Florida, sort of roughly the same time, one after the other, and there were a lot of hiring bonuses going on. You know, you kind of got a Starbucks card if you even just went in and filled out an application form, particularly in the F&B industry and hospitality, where there was a lack of people, and that remains. I mean, this ties in to the Grant Thornton survey that I'm looking at the moment. They've been asking companies around the world that have broken out the UAE results about what they're seeing in terms of rising costs. No surprise to anybody, they are seeing costs rise. This is mid-level firms, so not the sort of tiny startups, not big multinationals, mid-market businesses. Energy costs going up by about 18%, raw material costs by about 17%, salaries going up by around 14%, whether that's, I mean, a 14% pay rise is nice, so that also presumably could be new staff as well. And the other thing the survey's found that's really interesting is they're passing that on to consumers, because the PMI data for the last couple of months has suggested that hasn't been happening, that firms have been absorbing an awful lot of price rises, and it's only been in the last month's PMI for July that it looked like that was starting to be passed on, really. 87% say that, yeah, we're increasing our prices, and we're increasing them here in this Grant Thornton survey at the same level or above what our own cost increases are. So, looking at the amount of demand that they've got and taking the opportunity to do a bit of profit taking for owners, shareholders, cash flow, etc. Grant Thornton saying that those price increases are an, and I quote, extraordinary display of pricing power, which they can do because of high consumer demand and supply constraints. You want stuff, you can't get stuff, you're going to pay for stuff.
And another one just thrown into the mix on the very self-same subject is cost of living, obviously a major issue for employers and employees around the world. Hence why new figures from the Office for National Statistics Business Insights report out of the UK overnight, suggesting that 1 in 20 big business, what's a big business? Business with over 250 employees, offering workers and employees a cost of living bonus. Barrett, Taylor Wimpey, Lloyds, Rolls-Royce, HSBC, just some of the organisations to give workers bonuses to help them cope with rising costs and expensive bills. Lloyds, Rolls-Royce, HSBC have given workers bonuses to do exactly the same. Which is that going to become the sort of new norm, do you think?
Well, it's interesting. There's been a report recently of a local bank giving an 8% pay rise to people in a sort of cost of living pay review. I think Zawiya Dow Jones was reporting that the other day. If you give someone a bonus, you're not tied into paying it forever and ever, because
correct, yeah.
You know, you put wages up, they stay up. It's very hard to then say, well, cost of living's come down, so we're going to cut your salary. A bonus is a one-off, is a lot more flexible, isn't it? You can review it in 6 months, see if you're going to give another sort of bumper payment if prices are still high or not, if they're not.
Yeah, well, I suppose there is, therefore, and maybe that's one way round, sort of salary increases could be concerning for inflationary pressures, because then that's a passing on of the cost, isn't it, of higher wages to consumers. And I think Andrew Bailey had it. He was, do you remember he was slated at the beginning of the year saying, please don't hike your salaries because it's just going to cause, what was it, a spiral?
Yeah, it's a wage price spiral, and it's one of the two, some would argue one of the three major causes of inflation. And you are, and Andrew Bailey is, actually exactly right. You put wages up, that's an input cost, so what it costs to make the pizza goes up. So then people charge more for the pizza, and because your pizzas are costing more, you go to your boss and say, price of pizzas is through the roof, I can't afford to feed my family, other takeaways are available, and so your wages go up, and it continues to spiral, wage price spiral.
Just become a dancer.
There is demand. Coming up next on the Business Breakfast, the tour looks like busy traffic.
cloudy at times today with light to moderate winds creating hazy conditions. Temperatures creeping up to highs of 44 degrees Celsius later. Clear dry heat with humidity levels dropping below 40%.
This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye on One.
With Service My Car, book now and get 12-month parts and labour warranty with all service packages.
Stories that make you smile.
With First Abu Dhabi Bank.
The days of tears in the kitchen will soon be long gone. A Dutch company has built an industrial-sized automatic onion peeling machine that easily removes the core and tail of the onion. This then sets the vegetable in place to be skinned by air. The onions are fed into the machine hull and come out ready to serve. The onions are notched, topped, and tailed and finally peeled with an ear-blowing system. The machine also dices and slices onions into desired sizes.
Here's another reason to make you smile. My First Abu Dhabi Bank. Get rewarded for getting paid. Transfer your salary to a FAB account and earn up to 5,000 dirhams cashback. Open an account instantly through the FAB mobile app or visit bankfab.com to find out more.
Jumeirah now has easy access to world-class healthcare services from American Hospital Dubai. Yes, right in your neighborhood at Galleria Mall. Now advanced healthcare is around you. We are wherever you are. For appointments, call 800-243-92 or visit ahdubai.com. If you haven't listened to a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast, here's what you're missing.
On my show, we're bang up to date with all the latest in entertainment and Hollywood gossip.
Sometimes when you're talking to multiple stars at the same time, and one of them is the much bigger stars than the other stars, no offense there, but sometimes they think that they can just kind of sit there and joke it.
What did you make of Mr. Pitt, William? Likeable chap, or a little bit of edge to him?
Oh, no edge. He's a person who's focused on forging connections with others, and I think if you're in his presence, he is aware of that situation. This is a moment that he can make for you. He's conscious person. Those are the best types of people. And those are the best types of entry, the backstory.
Hear the podcast in full at DubaiEye1038.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Setting goals and tracking their progress is key to investing successfully. See the fuller picture with Citigold's goal-based advisory tools and insights. Learn more at citibank.ae. Terms and conditions apply.
Off script on Dubai Eye 103.8 with Chris, Sonal and Robbie.
The show that poses the biggest questions is a man at work. Gives away money, can't buy prizes. Call me old-fashioned, but I'd like to think that having a conversation with me is prize enough and expands your vocabulary.
Now, I never pronounced this word correctly. Is it misled or misled?
Misled.
What just happened? Join Chris, Robbie and Sonal weekdays from 5 p.m.
Only on Dubai Eye 103.8.
I've always read it as misled.
Celebrate longer weekends and summer holidays at the newly opened Centaur Mirage Beach Resort Dubai. Experience a family getaway with a water park, lazy river, splash pad and slides, or enjoy cliff jumping and an adventurous rope climbing course. There are also multiple kids clubs and a candy-themed kids spa. Stays start from 499 dirhams per night and kids go free. Call 045 229999 to book now or log on to CentauraHotelsResorts.com. The UAE's #1 talk radio station doesn't stop for the weekend.
Tune in every Saturday and Sunday for our weekly highlights and specialty shows.
It's conversations you won't hear on any other station in the country.
Online at DubaiEye1038.com and 103.8 on your radio.
We're here to make sure your heart is as strong as the love you have for life.
At Canadian Specialist Hospital, the Cardiology and Interventional Cardiology Department provide advanced cardiac care to treat all cardiac conditions using advanced imaging technology and the biplane cath lab for coronary and structural heart interventions.
Canadian Specialist Hospital, located at Abu Hail, Deira, Dubai. For appointments, call 04707 2222. Visit csh.ae. This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye on One.
With DP World, a global trade enabler offering innovative, efficient and smarter trade solutions. Log on to dpworld.ae for more information.
8 minutes to 9, good morning.
Currencies on Dubai Eye 103.8.
With
significant decreases on the dollar Wednesday, little bit of retrenching yesterday. Let's give you an idea of where you're at now, because if you're heading to a currency counter anytime soon and you want to change some of your hard-earned dirhams, peg the dollar to other currencies, this is what you're going to get. Philippine peso 55.46 to the dollar, that's for you eyes. Let's have a look at the South African rand. If you're heading down to South Africa, 16.25 rand to the dollar. The Pakistani rupee at 219, Sri Lankan out at 363, the Nepalese at 127. And if you're heading north in Africa, Egyptian pound currently at 19.14.
Save time and money. Only the leading insurance companies. InsuranceMarket.ae, the largest in the UAE. For your car, your house, home, life or business. Get everything sorted with super quickness. Call 800-ALFRED. InsuranceMarket.ae. You're listening to the UAE's #1 talk radio station.
This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Live on 1.
Big day in the history of Stars Play Day, August the 12th. Why? Well, 8 years ago they launched. It was a homegrown startup. Earlier on this year they celebrated over 200 employees. Today they celebrate the launch of Stars Play Sports. January last year was when they brought sports to the platform for the very first time. And today they look to, well, disrupt the sports streaming industry here in the UAE with the launch of the dedicated Stars Play Sports app. Danny Bates is the Chief Commercial Officer of Stars Play. He joined us a little earlier on, and that was the first question I put to Danny. How are you going to disrupt the market here in the UAE?
I think there's two things that will really disrupt the status quo. I think number one, particularly when it came to major soccer rights or major football rights, it has been really with one player in the region now for many, many years, 10 plus years. Sport or football has been with one major player in the MENA region. Now with Stars Play, we're bringing, and with our partners at Abu Dhabi Media, we're bringing football onto a different platform, onto a different experience, and we're bringing that to customers across the MENA region in a different way. So I think that's a very, very big change. And I think secondly, we're also bringing football via OTT platforms for the first time across this region. We've seen in the past it's been distributed via satellites or distributed via maybe some of the IPTV networks in the region, whereas this is bringing football now on an OTT network and with all the capabilities that allows for the customer.
So Danny, first up it will be the Italian league, Serie A, and then more will follow, or are they more already available?
So from a football standpoint, we will start with the Serie A, but also the Dutch league. So we have exclusive Dutch league. We're excited to add to Serie A, the Dutch league. There's a lot of players from the North African region in particular, as we're a MENA-wide platform playing in the Dutch league today. And then there will be other sports that we can bring to our platform. So we can confirm today we have the European Basketball League and European Cup of Basketball. So this is also coming to Stars Play. We have boxing from Frank Warren. We have the Extreme E events, which is a growing popular sport of motor racing. So there's a lot of other sports we've confirmed today, and many other sports that we're confirming over the next few weeks. In continued partnership with eVision and the Tisla, we bring the cricket and some of the other very relevant events, particularly for the UAE and our customers here in the UAE.
Fair to say, Danny, and I remember I mentioned conversations with Maz in the past there and him talking about, it was only a year, 2 years ago that we saw the first sport come onto the platform. Part now of the long-term strategy?
Definitely part of a long-term strategy. I think, last year, back in, as you say, in Jan 21, we brought UFC to the platform. That was our first move into sport, working again with Abu Dhabi Media. And I think we saw the impact that had on the platform. Just bringing even that first sport to the platform, the organic reach that sports has, and what a sort of compelling driver it is for the customer to come for that event at that time. So that started with UFC and it built throughout the year, bringing the AFC and what some people now class as the second largest European league in Serie A. And I think it's really part of the strategy is to build on that football offering as we go forward. So I think hopefully more to come from Stars Play in this front in the coming years.
Quick question, Dan, on the subscription. So subscribers of Stars Play, will they automatically get Stars Play Sports, or is it another subscription?
Stars Play Sports is a separate subscription, and in the UAE that's at just around 44 dirhams a month, 44.99 a month.
And where are you and the team when it comes to sort of pay-per-view for on-demand events?
We've done that in the past. So in the past we've been much more of an events-based platform when it came to sport, not so much a subscription platform. But what we're doing with our new sports pack is kind of rolling together everything we have into one package. So we're more of a now all-you-can-eat package, if you like, with everything we have as a sports offering available to consumers.
And you mentioned the partnership there with Abu Dhabi Sports as well. Is that something that's set to continue with other projects?
Definitely. I mean, I think number one, it's something we're really excited about for the Serie A. We were down with the Abu Dhabi Sports team yesterday, doing some work in the studio. So I think the coverage that customers will see across MENA will be exceptional. Really excited to work with the team there. The studios look amazing. The production looks absolutely amazing. And the partnerships worked really well across the last year or so, and having that ability to work together, I think, as Stars Play, what we bring from distribution and execution and Abu Dhabi's world-class broadcast is a partnership we really appreciate.
And that is Danny Bates, Chief Commercial Officer at Stars Play. A bit of a reminder of what the team will be up to on Thursday. It is Best Real Estate time in the Property Pulse hot seat, given that we've been talking about rising prices this morning. Rents and sale prices, of course, we're watching both closely. If you have got any questions, 4001 or get them in using the free hand.
Take Dubai Eye 103.8 with you anywhere.
Find us on the free ARN Play app. Download it now from Google Play and the App Store. Live from the UAE's #1 talk radio station.
This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye 1 with Randy Scott and Tom Elliott.
Good morning, you are listening to, and maybe even watching the Business Breakfast, 12th of August, 9 o'clock. It's a Friday. Here's what we've still got to come in the show this morning.
Email Properties agreeing to fully acquire Dubai Greek Harbour from Dubai Holding for a deal worth more than $2 billion.
More than 3/4 of employers are worried they don't have the skills they need amongst their staff. We've been speaking to Hayes, the people behind that report.
Earnings season updates throughout the show. Numbers from DEWA, Sure Capital, Aramex, and of course we've been speaking to Network International about their numbers.
Plus, conflicting reports out from OPEC and the IEA when it comes to how much energy the world's going to need for the rest of the year. We've had the energy expert Justin Dargan weighing in from Washington. All of that, plus Serena Kelly is here with your news and a quiz.
Your ARN News.
With Etihad Airways. Etihad Airways home check-in helps you skip airport queues, check in your bags, select your seat, and collect your boarding pass and bag tags, all from the comfort of home. Visit Etihad.com.
We are the UAE's most trusted source of information, with over 4 million people viewing and listening to our stories nationwide. This is your ARN News.
With Serena Kelly.
The UAE has called for the International Atomic Energy Agency to be given full and unimpeded access by the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant site in Ukraine. His Excellency Ambassador Mohammed Abu Shahab, Deputy Permanent Representative to the UN, was addressing the Security Council and expressing the UAE's concern over the recent events around the plant, which is the largest nuclear plant in Europe. Damage has been caused to critical infrastructure, including the external power supply system and radiation sensors. It's following recent shelling, with Ukraine and Russia again blaming each other for the attacks. Ambassador Abu Shahab said the alarming developments at Zaporizhzhia underline the urgency of finding a diplomatic end to the conflict, which continues to cause a staggering humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. Several regions regions in England are expected to declare a drought later as high temperatures continue, something experts say the country is unprepared for. A lack of rain means areas are suffering from water levels for rivers, reservoirs and aquifers drop below average. For several parts of the country, July was the driest on record since 1935, which has hit wildlife and some businesses. An amber warning for extreme heat covers much of England and Wales, though it's one step down from the red seen at the last heat wave. And the US Attorney General says he personally approved the decision to search former US President Donald Trump's home. Federal agents executed a warrant at Mar-a-Lago in Florida as part of an inquiry into claims the former president illegally removed records from the White House. According to reports, they were looking for documents relating to nuclear weapons. And now the Justice Department is asking a federal court to reveal details of the search warrant. Meanwhile, an armed man who tried to breach the FBI's Cincinnati office has been shot and killed by police after he fled the scene and engaged in an hour-long standoff. The confrontation came as officials warned of an increase in threats against federal agents in the days following the search of Trump's estate. Head to the Area News Centre Instagram account for the latest news, competitions and headlines.